sure doesn't seem like there's really much hope for a successful turnaround, at least not soon. And I mean, I suppose we could speak about it, but again, looking at these numbers, looking at the trend, the deep trend, as well as what's going on right now in the government and the social sentiment as far as their trust in the government, it just doesn't seem like this is going to be turning around anytime soon, at least.
No, it can't. And we know. Here's what we know from everything that's being touted today, is that they are talking about reducing deficits by $4 trillion. Well, here's sort of the rest of that story. First of all, they're talking about a 10-year period. So when you hear the number thrown out, okay, we're looking at reducing deficit spending by $4 trillion, that's a 10-year period that they're looking at doing that over, number one. Number two, the rest of that story is that over that 10-year period, the most recent budget that's published by the White House is projecting a $10.5 trillion deficit over that same period.
Mm-hmm.
So you just do the simple math, and here's what they're saying. Over the next 10 years, we're only going to run the country into debt by $6.5 trillion. Instead, they're doing the political spin on it and saying, gosh, we're getting spending under control. But the American public still needs to be aware that if they do that, if they are successful doing that, and that is a huge if that were to happen, the public debt at the end of that 10-year period will be, not the public debt, the national debt over that 10-year period will be in excess of $20 trillion. So you're exactly right. There's no end in sight. All of this bickering back and forth right now really has done nothing to address and reduce the national debt. They are only talking about reducing the annual deficit per year over the next 10 years by an average of $400 billion a year. That's what they're talking about. And if you listen to it, you think, boy, they're really addressing this problem. And it's like putting bubble gum, on the sinking ship. It's simply not going to work.
So you mentioned Greece. Do you think that the United States could see some degree of that type of civil unrest, considering these financial issues?
I do, and here's why. If you were to probably go back and ask the citizens of Greece 30 years ago, could this happen in your country? I bet there would be a resounding no, not going to happen. What we have to realize is the only reason that we've gotten a pass for our fiscal irresponsibility is because we're the United States of America.
Right.
All right? And there's not a better option. There's not a safer place that can absorb the financial resources of the world. I mean, we're it. Now, there's this country called China, and the IMF 5 years ago did a projection, and they said the Chinese economy and the U.S. economy would be on parity on a GDP basis by the early 2020s. 6 weeks ago, they came out and updated the report, and they're now estimating that could happen as soon as 2016.
Wow.
So once there's a global competitor, if you will, to the United States that has the financial wherewithal to impact world economy, to purchase resources, I believe wholeheartedly that they will have a say in the trading currency of the world. And, there have been rumblings about a trading basket made up of the euro, the yuan, and the dollar.
Right.
And, as China gains political clout, they're certainly going to offer that up. I mean, why are they building their economy? Why are they putting people to work? they want to be a global player.
Right.
And they're doing a very good job of it. I mean, their economy, last quarter grew at something over 9%, and ours grew at something less than 2%. So when you look at that, that's a real risk. And when they get to the size that they can handle that, they will be in a position to come forward and probably start making changes to the U.S. being looked at as the reserve currency of the world.
Right. Okay, so two final questions. First one regards what we could be seeing as far as maybe a default, or could we be seeing inflation or hyperinflation? Could we be seeing that loss of the dollar as a reserve currency? Or could we be seeing a major cut in the entitlement programs to such an extent that they're pretty much really not useful, at least for the individuals who will be receiving them, maybe on a political sense, and just on the surface they may be? What do you think we could be seeing realistically as far as the consequences of this fiscal irresponsibility?
Well, let's start with the default. I have to believe that the people in Washington, understand the very serious ramifications of even having the appearance of defaulted on a global basis. So, I would assign a very low probability to that, and if that does happen, there's already talk about the president can use his powers, under the Constitution to keep the government going, blah, 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 and you've probably seen that going back and forth. So they're already looking at ways to keep that from happening. So I don't think that will happen. With respect to inflation, you keep printing money, you keep putting money out there, and it has less value. I think if you go back and look at QE1 and then look at QE2, the quantitative easing that the Fed did and the dollars that they put into the economy, I think that you'll see that there was a commensurate increase in oil prices. Oil jumped, and why is that? Because the dollar has less intrinsic value than it did before you put another $1.3 trillion out there to work in the economy. Look at what's happened to gold. People are fleeing to gold for fear that, the dollar is losing value. So, when you see those commodity, particularly the precious metals moving up, I think people are saying, hey, I'm looking for someplace safer.
Right.
And not that I'm advocating that gold is safe or gold's a great investment. I'm just saying Joe Blow perceives that, and that's where they're going to put their money instead of buying U.S. Treasuries.
Right.
So, I think, that keeps going. We very easily could see, inflation raise its ugly head, and, realistically, you could see inflation that makes the inflation of the late 70s, early 80s look, quite good. So, we'll just have to see how that plays out. But, certainly there is the ability to stop this, and it is the politicians are going to have to do that, and they're going to have to take a very long-term approach to this problem. As I said, the last time we had a budget surplus was 1969, so it's been 40 years getting into this morass. We're going to spend 30 or 40 years getting back out.
Right. And when it comes to solutions, it seems that typically, we say that the problem is really coming from government, which it is, and at the same time, the American people for allowing it and continuing to support these decisions. Now, how exactly do we solve this problem? Do we bring in people that we believe in and we believe could actually make responsible decisions? Do we, how do we change the government and actually have some faith in the changes that we've made and the steps that we've taken?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think a lot of citizens have been trying to do that with their vote, and I think if you look at it, we've been fairly ineffective in doing so.
Right.
One of the things that Will and I put into the book is, we both believe very strongly that we need to have term limits. If a politician can spend 12 years in office and that's all, he's going to be more inclined to do what's right for America and go down in history as being someone that did the right thing as someone that was in political office for 50 years. So, I think that, term limits goes a long way to advancing that cause. The other thing is, I think the American public has got to listen very closely to what their politicians are telling them, and they have to go back when it's time to vote and say, did they do what they say they were to do? Did they do what's right for the country? Yes, no. If not, put somebody else in there.
Right.
I think the lifetime politician needs to become a thing of the past. You get a lot of baggage the longer you're in there, I believe.
Great. Any final words, Mike?
Well, one of the things that we'll offer up is we had an individual that read our book, and he underwrote writing several thousand copies of it, and said, I want you guys to buy these. I want you to give them away on people that you interview with. So if any of your listeners go to thefinancialtsunami.com, they can get the book, which, again, is easy to read, easy to understand, all fact-based, and not political in any sense. And they can get it for shipping and handling. The book will be absolutely free. So,
great.
We were quite pleased that this individual read the book and said, "This is great. I want everybody to read it." So
yeah, that is an excellent response.
That was a great endorsement, and we felt very good about that. So so we're working on giving away his books for him.
Excellent. So that is thefinancialtsunami.com.
Yeah, and remember, tsunami is spelled with a T. Most people start with an S. So when you start with a T, you go there. When you go to the website, there's a place. It's called a coupon code or promo code, and you just type in the word DEBT, D-E-B-T.
Okay.
And the book's free. You get it for shipping and handling, which
Great.
is something less than $6. So pretty good value.
Great.
Well, the other thing is I would like to thank you for what you do. I think individuals such as yourself taking the time to become engaged and to try to make people aware. I think the education process is probably not the right term, but we like to look at it as an awareness process. And the more we can make people aware of the facts, I think the better chance we have of surviving this.
Thanks, Mike. And your work is extremely important because, well, one thing that really stood out to me while you were describing your book is that you're using all government facts and figures. And I think that's great because it's coming straight from the government. It's coming straight from the government.
No, there's absolutely nobody that can refute any number that's in our book. They're absolutely locked and loaded. We list the government website, so again, it's not Will Gates and Mike Gearhardt's numbers; it's the federal government's numbers.
Right. Excellent. Well, thank you, Mike.
Thanks for having us on the show, and if you ever want to chat again, please feel free to give us a call.
Excellent.
Take care.
All right. See you, Mike. Well, all right. This has been Jelani Asar, and you have survived another encounter with the Unfunded Liabilities monster. See ya.